के साथ. All right, once again, a very warm welcome to you. And here we have our moderator, Nisha Gautam, with us. Yeah, she did the push-ups. Well, there was this rule that you always have to do a push-up if you need to get a selfie from Milind, sir. All right, so I am sure. Okay, it still is the thing. All right, so we are about to start with the Made in India, Milind Soman in his own words. Here we go.
Are you mic'd up?
Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Nice.
What is this question? Can you hear me? Nobody's here to hear
Can
you.
you hear
Everybody's here to see you.
One lives in hope. I always tell people when I go somewhere, people are just looking at me. And then I do a test later on, I ask them questions, they don't know anything. It's like, ऐसे देख रहे थे, क्या देख रहे थे?
Now you understand what it's like to be a woman in this country.
So I should sit like this.
Absolutely, darling.
All right.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, I may need an introduction, he doesn't. You're all here to know a little more about this absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous man.
So sweet.
Yes,
So
yes.
sweet.
His wife is going to kill me, but then let's whatever. Anyway, the idea today is that this is an entirely unscripted, undiscussed conversation that we're going to have, and he's really game. So it's not just that he makes you do push-ups for a selfie, he's also game when it comes to him. And it's a real pleasure to be speaking to somebody who does not ask you, क्या बात करने वाले हो, क्या पूछने वाले हो? So yes, whatever I want, I think I have you for 35-40 minutes.
Have you read the book?
Yes. Right.
Okay, for those who don't know, this is the book.
Yeah.
Made in India is a book, okay? It's published by Penguin. It's has a lot about my life. It was published in 2020, just before the pandemic. And I've been told that it's really interesting. So when Penguin first came to me and said, we want you to, write us your life story, and I said, that's really boring. Who's going to read this? What have I done in my life? I've done nothing. They said, no, you've done so much. And I said that to me. Sorry, can I start?
Of course.
I said,
a commercial wearing nothing but a pair of shoes. And they were taken to the court for obscenity. Now it's very interesting, obscenity, the concept of obscenity in a country where our gods are depicted nude, where the form of, the body, the form is worshipped, right? But it becomes obscene somehow, right? The art
to some people.
to some people, exactly. Some people who are joyless, maybe, and do not perhaps know where we come from. Culture की बड़ी बातें होती हैं, but very few people know exactly about the culture. It was a difficult case and difficult time because it went on for what, 14, 15 years? 14 years. And ultimately, everybody was acquitted. So not only were these two taken to the court, but the photographer, the magazines, the two magazines that had carried the commercial. Yeah. So it was an all-around scandal. How can two people pose like this? How did you feel back then? That's when you actually broke on the scene, as they say, with a controversy like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you go by controversies, then that was a big one. But that was the year actually I stopped modeling.
Yes.
Right? So I was already I was a very famous model. I was doing a lot of work. I started modeling in the year 1989. And immediately I became models. There were very few models. The whole Indian fashion scene was just starting. There were in fact, no fashion boutiques. Ensemble had just started maybe a couple of years before that. And even the concept of fashion weeks, there was no concept of fashion weeks. There were no fashion magazines. Media was very, very small. There was only Doordarshan, which was television. There was only All India Radio, which was radio. And there were very few. The biggest newspapers today, as we know them, maybe 2 or 3 of them. That's about it. So when I did this particular ad in 1995, and it was a shoe ad, that's why we were wearing shoes. Yeah. And the agency came to us and said, would you like to do this ad? Yeah, and of course, again, when you say, is it against our culture per se, it is not, because we have nudity in our culture, right? It's not in general perceived as illegal to be naked. Like in America it is, but in India it's not. So whether it's for religious purposes or some other purposes, people are naked, India is liberal to that idea. But when it comes to advertising, when it is nudity is used for a particular purpose, then I think there is a debate on it. Why is this being done? There has to be a reason for it, which is reasonable according to some people. So of course the case went on for a long time as to what is art, what is obscenity. And of course this was the same or similar case that was made against Raja Ravi Verma more than 100 years ago.
Absolutely.
When he painted pictures where women were not wearing conventional clothing, and people said, oh, this is obscene. And then there was a big case which he had to fight as well, with the same result, that, okay, it's in the eye of the beholder, art is art, obscenity is obscenity, and you have to decide what it is.
Right. Did it make you feel that somehow you've been reduced to just that advertisement and everything else that happened before that? has been somehow erased, and anything that would come after this would always bear a shadow of that advertisement?
No, I never felt that because how many people have seen that ad here today? Anybody? You? 2 people? You just Googled it? No? Okay. So you haven't seen it? Come on. Okay. Anyway, so no, I never felt that. See, it was part of my job. I was a model. I did an advertisement. And that was it. I wasn't concerned about whether even if today I do a movie or I do a series on an OTT platform. It's not my business to know whether it's going to do well or not. Because I haven't actually made it. I've participated in it. It's been made by a producer, a director, a writer, and so many more people who are more responsible for what that story actually is. So I've forgotten about it. I've done it. I've forgotten about it. When the case came up, I was surprised. I said, okay, now what do I need to do? I need to be represented, get a lawyer, all of that, and that was it. And in the same year, because you're asking, would I be overshadowed by this kind of a thing? I did my first acting job, which
Captain
was
Vyom.
No, Mouthful of Sky, which was India's first English serial on Doordarshan. And yeah, there were other things that are made in India itself.
95.
The video came out in 95. So these
95.
3 big things that people talk about to me today, in fact, made in India the most, because the song plays all the time, people
Yes.
see the video all the time, and yeah, I think made in India is something that I kind of object to, though it's the title of the book, because wherever I go, people play the song. Yeah.
Thank God we haven't done that here. Right.
But I really look good in that song.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was 10 when the advertisement came out, and I was like, okay, then this looks very good. So 10-year-old, you do not have certain eyes, but 1995, globalization had just happened. Brands were coming in, then the channels had started coming in. People were getting exposed to a lot of things. And there comes Alisha Shenoy and Milind Soman. And this becomes the anthem for a nation made in India, that we too are something. Surely that feels good.
It feels amazing. But the other thing that I find interesting is that people started talking about male objectification. Where, because you were saying earlier, now you know how it feels like to be a woman. I've always felt like that in India. Is that was the first instance where people started saying that, okay, people are just looking at this guy and we don't care who he is, what his name is. It's just basically about his body and his face, and that's about it. So that was, I think, something interesting. There was a documentary film that was made by an Indian in the US called Milind Soman Made Me Gay.
I know that one.
Yeah, so that came out a few years later because this guy first realized his sexual orientation watching this video and this ad and, basically again the objectification and saying this body and, I just realized that I'm gay. And that was his story. And that was amazing. I said, okay, there's a documentary now with my name in it. I'm not in it, but just my name. That's it.
Right. No, you actually, now that you talk about homosexuality and the queerness, you have been a queer icon for a long, long time. How does that feel too? Does it make you feel responsible?
No, it's nice to be loved. But responsibility is what you accept, finally.
Yeah.
Like guilt. Responsibility, anything, any expectation of the outside world is only what you expect, or only what you accept. I mean, we all have the world around us expecting things from us, right? There's big responsibility if we choose to accept it. Or if we make it clear that, listen, this has nothing to do with me, this is just what you see. It's nothing to do with me, actually. So I enjoy it, but I don't accept it as a responsibility. If people come and tell me that, oh, we love you, I'm happy. But I don't feel responsible to them.
Right.
Like I feel responsible to my wife if she says she loves me.
Right.
Obviously I am, right? Because I have actually done something there, and I have created a relationship there, which therefore I'm responsible for.
But what about responsibility as a public figure when it comes to, say, queer rights and, you know, equality of marriage. I mean, this is something that has been going on, and the courts are coming up with, yes, with arguments for and against.
So my personal take is that I believe in complete freedom. Freedom of expression, freedom to love whoever you want, freedom to live your life the way you want, as long as you are not physically stopping somebody else from doing what they have to do. I believe that that freedom is essential to all of us, and it should be given to all of us. And equality in that sense is very important across the board to every single living being, you know. Right. So, yeah, that kind of responsibility. And for me as a public figure, as you say, I did feel it a little bit. And maybe because I feel that health is such an important thing, and this is an idea I've grown up with, maybe because of sports, that my health is something that's really important. And I feel it should be important to other people as well, because then they can be happy. So I link happiness to health. And I feel that the youth of our country, or say the children in our country, unfortunately don't have the guidance when it comes to being healthy and happy. I don't know about other countries whether they have it or not, but in India, we have a great system of education, and for people in India, education is a big thing. You must be educated, you must go to school, you must study. But in school, where you must go, they teach you nothing about being healthy, and they teach you nothing about being happy. Yeah. So I feel I was very lucky as a child to be put in that space in which I understood that health is important, and you need to work at it, and you need to make the effort to maintain it, right? So when I became a model, for example, I never advertised for anything that I thought was harmful to health, even mental health. So, for example, if it's gambling, I don't promote gambling. I don't promote any form of gambling, on social media. So gambling companies, casinos, whatever it is. I mean, people like it, they enjoy it, they do it. I don't promote it. I might even do it myself, but I don't promote it. At that time, there was cigarettes. I used to smoke, but I never promoted smoking. I never did any advertisement for smoking. No alcohol, no chips. I love chips. But I never promoted chips because I think that, okay, maybe I can deal with it, but it's addictive. And it's addictive in a really bad way, and it can spoil somebody's life. So I will not even advertise for chips. So in that sense, because I personally understand it, that gives me, or it ensures that I take that responsibility.
आप लोगों में से कितने लोगों को मालूम है ये बात कि मिलिंद competitive swimmer रह चुके हैं? ये जो स्पोर्ट की जो बातें हो रही हैं, तो वो competitive swimming किया है और कुछ मेडल भी जीते हैं.
Are we speaking in Hindi now?
हाँ, हिंदी में भी बात कर सकते हैं. So, it's a very good.
मैं swimming करता था.
Swimming करता था.
Practicing my Hindi.
अच्छा, अब नहीं करते?
अब कभी-कभी करता हूँ, लेकिन उस समय क्या हुआ था कि luckily again मेरे घर के बहुत ही नज़दीक एक swimming pool था, है अभी भी है, and in summer बहुत सारे लोग जो उस locality में थे, वो सारे उस swimming pool में swimming करते थे. It had about 30,000 members.
Wow.
So you can imagine in summer you could just stand like that. You couldn't even swim because everybody wanted to be in the water. लेकिन जब मैं गया था, I went there with my neighbor, और उसने मुझे तब swimming नहीं आती थी. I was about 8 or 9 years old, और 8-9 साल का था. We went to the pool, और उसने मुझे धक्का मारा, और मैं swimming pool के अंदर गिर गया. But somehow I kind of struggled and I was able to not drown, you know. तो कभी-कभी होता है कि an experience like that might make somebody very, very scared. But that experience made me confident. So कुछ भी हो सकता है, दोनों तरफ हो सकता है. And I started going there regularly, and then I realized कि अगर आप swimming की अगर practice करेंगे, then there is a separate lane that they give you, so you don't just have to stand like this, क्योंकि जगह ही नहीं थी. तो वहाँ पे एक लेन है, अगर आप बोलेंगे कि मुझे प्रैक्टिस करनी है कंपटीशन के लिए, तो आप वहाँ पे स्विमिंग कर सकते हो. So I started training with the coach, and when I was 9 years old, I went for the national championships in my event, and I won a silver medal. तो वो बहुत बड़ा encouragement था कि medal जीतना मतलब बहुत अच्छा लगता है बच्चों को. So I wanted to swim more. So I represented Maharashtra for 14 years. And by the time I finished, I was a national champion in my event. I had represented India in swimming. Or I really, I mean, it's just not just the medals or anything like that, but the kind of things I learned about myself is something that I don't underestimate. And that makes me the person I am today. कि जो भी मैंने sports में सीखा है, that makes me who I am today. That's what I seriously believe.
Right. When it comes to use of body, so you were a sports person, then modeling kiya, acting kiya. Again, body बहुत important है उसमें. Now you have taken up this sort of activism. Selfie चाहिए Milind Soman के साथ 10 push-ups. Right. So you're on a mission.
लड़कियों के लिए 10, लड़कों के लिए 20.
Very good.
This actually started about 8 years ago, 7-8 years ago. जब ये पूरा सेल्फी का क्रेज काइंड ऑफ शुरू हुआ कि सबके पास फोन आ गए, कोई भी दिखा कि अरे इसको टीवी पे देखा है, ये सिनेमा में देखा है, they would run to them and say selfie, selfie, selfie. So I'm saying ये क्या है? This is very strange, you know. I can't do this. So मैंने सोचा कि अगर मैं बोलूँगा कि ठीक है फोटो चाहिए तो मैं दूंगा, because you don't want to say no. इतने प्यार से आते लोग. So I say कि ठीक है, I'm not saying no, but there is a rule and you have to do these push-ups. तो मैंने सोचा था कि नहीं करेंगे लोग, भाग जाएंगे, और I'll be happy, I don't have to take pictures with anybody. तो मुझे actually फोटो लेना बिल्कुल पसंद नहीं है, and people find it strange because I was a model and all of that, but I like to take pictures if I'm paid. Yeah, I mean of course. अगर पैसे देंगे तो फोटो ले. So I thought कि लोग भाग जाएंगे, नहीं push-ups नहीं कर सकते, but I was very surprised कि almost 90% of people agree to do the push-ups. आज भी आपने देखा है 90% शायद उन्होंने कभी लाइफ में किए नहीं है, but they will try, and that kind of made me happy. I said, okay, they're trying at least, and it makes me happy to take a picture with them. So it worked both ways, And actually मेरा modeling का career ऐसे ही शुरू हुआ, because in 1988 I stopped swimming, and I was trying to figure out, क्या करना है life में. I was 17 or 18, I was 22. And like most people at that age, I didn't know कि क्या करना है मुझे life में, क्या करूँ, क्या business करूँ, क्या job करूँ, क्या करूँ. My home environment was academic, मेरे चारों grandparents जो थे, दोनों नानी नहीं, एक नानी दादी और दादा, नानी और दादा दादी, चारों doctor थे, right? Then my father was a nuclear scientist. My mother is a biochemist. तो वो माहौल है घर पे. तो क्या करना चाहिए, तो मैं इंजीनियरिंग कर रहा था, बट आई वॉज नॉट इंटरेस्टेड इन इट. मुझे बिल्कुल उसमें दिलचस्पी नहीं थी कि इंजीनियर बनना है, इतना बोरिंग, मतलब मैं कभी नहीं कर पाऊंगा पूरी ज़िंदगी भर. सो आई सेड क्या करना है. आई वेंट टू वर्क इन अ होटल. मैंने होटल में 1 साल काम किया, पूरे डिपार्टमेंट्स में, किचन में, हाउसकीपिंग में, यहाँ वहाँ. सो आई हेट कुकिंग नाउ बिकॉज आई स्पेंड 3 months इन अ किचन. एंड आई वॉज जस्ट हैंगिंग अराउंड सेइंग क्या करूँ. एंड somebody came to me and said, can we take pictures of you? And I'm like, because I was very beautiful. मुझे पता नहीं था, क्योंकि उस समय कोई बताता नहीं था. आज रोज जहाँ भी जा रहे, you're so beautiful, you're so beautiful. तब पता नहीं था, you never. So somebody came and said, can we take pictures of you? And I said, for what? They said, for advertising, we want to shoot you in these different shirts. So I said, hey, it's not interesting. Why would I do that? They said, we'll pay you. I said, okay. How much? So they said, how much do you want? I think it's in the book. Is it in the book? So they said, how much do you want? I said, आपने ये पहले किया है? They said, हाँ किया है, हम हमेशा करते हैं advertising. Every year we do a new campaign. So I said, okay. पिछली बार आपने जिससे आपने फोटो खिंचवाए उसको कितने पैसे दिए? They said 35,000 rupees. So this is in 1988 or 89. 35,000 rupees, मैंने 5,000 रुपये भी नहीं देखे थे. So ऐसे ठीक है, मुझे 50,000 दे दो. क्या बोलता है, क्या होता है, मैं बोलने में कुछ नहीं. So they said okay, and I said, this is amazing, this is a great business. कि जाके कोने में खड़े रहो, और they'll take pictures of me, and after 1 hour they give me 50,000 rupees. And so I started doing that. It was fantastic. और उसके साथ साथ I got to travel all over the world. तब, as I said, Indian fashion तभी शुरू हुआ था, हो रहा था. We were going to Dubai, we were going to Bangkok, we were going showing our clothes in London. अलग नए नए डिज़ाइनर्स आ रहे थे, रोहित बाल, सुनीत वर्मा, रोहित खोसला, ये सारे लोग जो आज बहुत बड़े बड़े डिज़ाइनर्स बन गए, तरुण तहिलियानी. And we were just going everywhere and having such an amazing time, क्योंकि 20-25 मॉडल्स थे जो सारे बड़े शोज करते थे. And it was like a little family, just going different countries, different cities, having a party. तब मैं बहुत दारू पीता था, you know, but
ये जितने भी जो यंगस्टर्स हैं मेरे ख्याल से उनको सबको
दारू बिल्कुल पीना नहीं चाहिए.
बिल्कुल नहीं पीना चाहिए. इन्होंने छोड़ दिया क्योंकि इनको पता था कि बहुत खराब चीज़ है.
Yeah.
सी गलतियां सब करते हैं मेरे ख्याल
और
से.
गलतियां
समझदारी
होनी
तब
भी
है.
चाहिए, होनी भी चाहिए.
Absolutely. सीखेंगे कैसे?
Because
गलतियां नहीं
सीखेंगे कैसे?
करेंगे तो सीखेंगे
Absolutely,
नहीं.
absolutely. तो मैंने सीखा.
राइट. आपके पर्सनालिटी में कुछ चेंज आया जब बहुत भाव मिलने लग गया कि बस ओके दिस इज मिलिंद सोमन, वी नो दिस पर्सन. क्या हुआ?
I was always a little shy, and I mean it was crazy at that time. 90s में जब I mean a lot of people can't imagine, but when it's a completely new phase for India, as you say, liberalization had just boomed, you know. इतने सारे नए businesses थे, new television channels, media was becoming bigger and bigger. Fashion industry had started. People were literally going mad. Once I remember, मेरा एक दोस्त है, जो कॉलेज गया था अमेरिका में. वो 5-6 साल के बाद वापस आया था. I think this was maybe 91, 92. वो इंडिया वापस आया. And we went to this cafe in पुणे में, जो बॉम्बे के नज़दीक है. And we walked into the door, and the entire place, all the people started screaming. So I was like, so he's like, what happened? What happened? I said, nothing, come on. And and there was a manager and all that. They took us to another place, but that's how crazy it was. I remember people used to come and, you know, just to touch me and just to kiss my hand. And it was, I mean, for me, it was completely crazy, you know. But I think it was a fun time. I don't think I really changed. I was already very arrogant. I thought I was the best. Because, you know, I was the national champion in my event, so whenever I walked into a swimming pool, also everybody was looking at me and saying, oh, Milind Soman. And that has not changed. So that was when I was 15 years old. You know, now I'm 58. So it's not changed. It's the same. And I learned at that time also that the people who are looking at me don't really know me. They only know what they see. So it's their perception. जो आज हम बोलते हैं कि लोग जो आपके बारे में बात करते हैं, that is actually a reflection of वो क्या सोच रहे हैं. It's not about you. It's about how they think. कि अगर आपको बुरा कह रहे हैं तो वो बुराई उनके मन में है. उनके मन में आप में कोई बुराई नहीं है. You know, so that I learned at that time, saying whatever these people, even if it's a good thing, it's a bad thing, they don't know who I am, so I don't really care.
You know, your social media, now, why I want to talk about it is that people have now taken to social media. पहले आपके ज़माने में होता था कि models का या actors का ये जो celebrity, the whole concept of celebrity was a very different, distant, बड़ा mystical सा एक होता था कि पता नहीं क्या खाते होंगे, कैसे घर में क्या, लक्स से तो नहीं नहाते हैं clearly क्योंकि लक्स तो बड़ा सस्ता है तो महंगे साबुन से नहाते होंगे. So all of that, but social media ने काफ़ी एक वो distance को bridge कर दिया. In a way. So I know that you go for a run because I follow your Instagram.
You know that I don't use soap?
Sorry?
Do you know that I don't use soap?
You told us in the office when you had come. That's all. So,
Okay.
so how do you curate your social media? What is the image जो मतलब मिलिंद सोमन अपने Instagram पे project करना चाहते हैं?
So it's generally about the thing that I love the most, which is
Your wife.
physical activity, and my wife, yes. And physical activity, running, swimming, cycling, trekking, climbing, you know, I love that, and I just put all of that out there. In fact, the question that people ask me most, and I love traveling. I love traveling because my wife loves traveling, so we just travel all the time, all over the world. And the most common question I get, because I never put up work that I'm paid for, unless they pay me to put it up. So the most common question is, इतना पैसा आता है कहाँ से? ये कैसे जाते हैं यहाँ वहाँ? What does he do? Nobody knows what I do. So I don't put it up कि मैं यहाँ लकड़बग्गा जो अभी screening हो रही है in the next auditorium कि मैं उसमें actor हूँ. So unless they say, can you please put this, I don't put it. Or if I was in Bajirao, which was such a big film with Sanjay Leela Bansali, I never put up a single post saying कि मैं उस film में हूँ. Yeah, Emergency with Kangana. And just because I had to put it, I put it. Otherwise, I would not have put that. Because to me, what is interesting, and I think interesting to the people who follow my page on Instagram also or Facebook, is they want to know what I think about health and fitness. And they want to know simpler ways to be fit and to be healthy and to think positive. So I enjoy that kind of interaction better.
Right, but उसमें भी आपने तहलका मचा दिया था. You put out a picture और फिर दोबारा controversy हो गई.
The which picture?
Yes.
Which one?
With nothing one.
So, so
Habitual offender, this man.
So that was 2 years ago, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe 3 years ago. So
Just before the pandemic.
just before pandemic, so I was on a holiday for my birthday, and I was on a beach, and it was an empty beach, so beautiful. And I told my wife, I want to run naked on this beach. So she
Your
said, are
birthday
you
suit.
crazy? She said, yeah, I said, yeah, in my birthday suit. She said, are you crazy? I said, yeah, I want to run. So I just took off all my clothes and I started running, and she took some pictures of me. And then I liked the picture. It's a beautiful picture.
Yeah.
And I posted it. I said, ठीक है, उस समय तो दौर अलग था. And I'll tell you, about 4 or 5 months before that, I had put up the picture of the 1995 ad on my Instagram saying कि ये 20 साल या 25 साल पहले हुआ था. अगर ये आज होता सोशल मीडिया के दौर में तो क्या होता? And everybody said कुछ नहीं होता, आजकल क्या क्या दिखाते हैं OTT पे, यहाँ वहाँ, ये क्या है, ये कुछ भी नहीं है, क्या दिख रहा है इसमें, कुछ नहीं दिख रहा है, तो nothing will happen. So I was like, oh, okay, good. Not that I'm going to repeat it. But when I posted this picture, I said, no, it's just me running alone on the beach. You can't see anything.
Yeah.
It's a really nice photograph. Tabhi, again, people were like, some people,
Some people.
कि ये क्या है? Is it necessary? It's not necessary. Nothing is necessary. What is necessary? So I was like,
Art
okay.
is not necessary.
And see, the fact is that people thought that there was a case, but there wasn't any case. No.
There wasn't. Yeah. So, now coming back to my whole question of, this cult of personality जो एक बना हुआ है, that is so much around body. Milind Soman and body, वो मतलब de-link कर ही नहीं सकते, कितनी भी हम कोशिश कर लें. तो does it constrain you in any manner, or do you celebrate it?
I celebrate it. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Of course I celebrate it. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm a kind of introverted person, but in the media, so I know I have to be out there, and there are certain things that people want to know and they want to see, and I'm okay with that. But what else do I want them to know about me? Right? That's enough. They like my body, I'm happy. They like my face, I'm happy. They like my heart.
They
I'm
don't
happy.
know your heart.
I'm happy. I mean, that's okay. I mean, that's all I want. I mean, I'm not a writer, and it's like they're celebrating my body, but they don't read my books. Then I'd be upset. अरे मैं इतनी किताबें मैंने लिखा हूँ, ये तो बॉडी के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. ऐसी तो बात है नहीं. If I were an author, I would say कि I've written such an amazing book. I've got the Booker's Prize, but they're talking about my abs. This is not a good thing. But it's not like that. Right? I'm celebrated for what is seen as something that's necessary in my profession, actually.
Right.
A beautiful body, beautiful face, and that's it. And I think why it's celebrated today is actually beyond that. It is about my age.
Right. You're aging well.
Yeah, which is I think, a great message in itself. Right? It's the message itself that you don't have to look forward to getting old with trepidation. Oh, I'm getting old. Oh, what am I going to do? In fact, I meet people very often, 45 years old, who say, "Beta," to me, I'm 58, नहीं होता अब. I say, क्या नहीं होता? अब 45 साल के हो. 80 साल तक जीना है आपको. 35 साल करेंगे क्या? What are you going to do?
And your mother does push-ups.
She does push-ups. She's 83.
Yeah.
She started trekking at 60. She started trekking at 60. So that's amazing. And so that's something I've grown up with. And also a lot of people around me, I see it. I started this run for women called Pinkathon.
Yes.
And I made the mascot. I made a mascot, and the mascot was this lady from Patiala called Mankaur. She passed away last year, or year before last. I mean, to me, she's still alive, but she died at 105. Started running at the age of 93. That's the message. She started running at 93, represented India for 10 years after that, and won gold medals across the world for India. Imagine, who is that blessed? To win gold medals for your country at the age of 97, 98, 100, 101, 102. Amazing. That's the message.
Right.
You know?
सब कुछ लोग ना ये बोलते हैं कि यार ये मिलिंद सोमन के साथ में मतलब ये या जस्ट इमेजिन हैविंग मिलिंद सोमन अराउंड यू कितना प्रेशर है मम्मी भी उनकी पुशअप करती हैं वाइफ को देखो इतनी फिट मतलब ये अगर हॉलिडे पे जाते हैं तो क्या करते हैं ये क्या मतलब चलो डार्लिंग 25 किलोमीटर दौड़ के आते हैं
ये होता है So recently we did an event. It was called Invincible Women. I was the face of that event in February में एक event था और उसमें एक 100 किलोमीटर की रेस थी which was a relay for 4 participants. So 4 women. The 4 women were my 3 sisters and my wife. Yeah, in their team. It was called the Warriors, and my youngest sister is 57.
Oh.
My oldest sister is 61.
Wow.
And so they were doing 25 kilometers each. And for my wife, it's easy. She's only 31, so, you know, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I want to ask, मतलब ये audience में से अगर किसी को कुछ सवाल पूछने हैं मिलिंद से,
पूछिए.
go ahead.
पूछिए.
Yes, the gentleman in yellow shirt. माइक आ रहा है आपके पास में. बहुत जल्दी संक्षेप में पूछेगा.
बहुत धन्यवाद सोमन जी आपने अपनी बात को बहुत ही अच्छा मेड इन इंडिया
नमस्ते जी.
मेड इन इंडिया की बात की आपकी भारत किस तरह से मेड इन इंडिया में अपने आप को छाप छोड़ रहा है. मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि इनपुट आउटपुट की बात आ रही है और क्लाइमेट चेंज को मैं इस बात को आपको दर्शाना चाहूँगा और आपका नाम भी सोमन सोलर एनर्जी आप सोलर एनर्जी के मैन हैं सूर्य ऊर्जा के मैन हैं. क्वेश्चन आता है कि इस मेड इन इंडिया को और कैसे एक्सेस किया जाए वर्ल्ड के अंदर. तो मैं आपसे क्वेश्चन हुआ कि मैं राजस्थान का रहने वाला हूँ सबसे एनर्जी राजस्थान में टॉप की एनर्जी मिलेगी और सब लोग एनर्जी मैन हैं क्यों ना मेड इन राजस्थान लिखा जाए और इंपोर्ट नहीं करके एक्सपोर्ट किया जाए मेड इन राजस्थान.
Thank you,
तो
जी.
आपका क्या विचार है इसके अंदर.
Thank you.
So the most important energy for me, लोग बहुत बात करते हैं अभी climate change के बारे में, sustainability and all that, but I think the most important energy, सबसे important energy है positive energy, जो लोगों में होती हैं. और अगर हम उसको बढ़ावा दें, positive energy को, positive mindset, कैसे सोचना है positively, ये लोगों के सामने लाना है. And I think sports for that is very important. अभी जो marathons होते हैं, those are very very important. Running events जो आराम से कोई भी कर सकते हैं, कोई भी किसी भी age में शुरू कर सकते हैं. To change the way we think, not to think any negative thoughts, positive energy, इसको बढ़ावा देना चाहिए.
Right. Anybody else? क्योंकि मेरे पास तो सवालों का भंडार है. आप नहीं पूछेंगे तो मैं पूछ लूँगी.
Hello, sir. My question is, what is your driving force?
Driving.
I think it's me only. I am my driving force. I
me
enjoy.
myself.
मुझे जिंदगी से बहुत लगाव है. मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है एक्सपीरियंस करना चीज़ों को, ट्रैवल करना, अलग अलग चीज़ें करना. तो जब मैं 50 साल का हुआ, फॉर एग्जांपल, मैं सोच रहा था कि ये मैं 50वें साल को मैं कैसे मेमोरेबल कैसे बना सकता हूँ. कि लोग जब 30 साल के होते हैं तो बोलते हैं पार्टी कहाँ 30 साल के हो गए 30 साल के. जब 40 साल के होते हैं तब भी वही सवाल है कहाँ क्या करेंगे पार्टी कहाँ करेंगे. 50 ऑफ कोर्स इज़ अ बिग नंबर. तो मैंने सोचा कि व्हाट कैन आई डू टू मेक दिस फन एक्साइटिंग, जो मैं याद रखूँगा कि 50 के उम्र में मैंने ये किया. एंड समबडी सजेस्टेड आयरन मैन, जो ट्रायथलॉन का नाम है. 3.8 किलोमीटर स्विमिंग, 180 किलोमीटर साइकिलिंग, 42 किलोमीटर रनिंग. तो बोला ये मैं कर सकता हूँ, इसकी कोशिश मैं कर सकता हूँ. So that is the kind of thing that I have to test myself, challenge myself all the time to see कि मैं, what is my capability, What is my potential to have fun, to enjoy myself? और enjoy myself का मतलब क्या है? Enjoy every part of me, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. कैसे मैं हर चीज़ को मैं enjoy कैसे कर सकता हूँ? I want that to happen. जैसे मैंने कहा कि 45 की उम्र में लोग मुझे पूछते हैं कि अब नहीं होता, क्यों नहीं होता? जिंदगी इतनी बड़ी है, इतनी खूबसूरत है, आप लोग क्या कर रहे हो? Right? You have to enjoy it.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
There's the lady there, and that's the last question.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
I'm a very big fan of yours.
Thank you so much.
One thing I would like to say that, I follow you on Instagram. And you are very relevant to us, to the young people because of your fitness regime and everything. I would like you to give some advice because, we have such hectic lifestyle and everything.
Mistakes, learn from your mistakes, because it's only experience that is going to teach you how to enjoy life.
But sir, we'll want to
But
learn
if
from
you
your
want,
experience.
I'll tell you something. The biggest myth that people have about being fit and healthy is it takes time. इसमें समय लगता है. समय बिल्कुल नहीं लगता. You know how much I exercise every day? Let me tell you one thing. मैं gym कभी नहीं जाता. मैं life में नहीं गया gym, but I'm very fit and I'm really healthy. Yeah, thank you. And beautiful. But how much do you think I exercise? मैं कितना exercise करता हूँ दिन में?
Sir, मैंने आपका Instagram बहुत अच्छे से follow कर रखा है, and I've seen you do exercise with very basic things around.
Very basic.
आपने ये भी बोल रखा
I
है.
will tell you the answer. 10 minute. 10 minute मैं रोज एक्सरसाइज करता हूँ. और वो भी एक साथ 10 मिनट नहीं. सुबह उठ के 2-3 मिनट, फिर लंच के पहले आधा मिनट, फिर दोपहर को कभी वक्त मिले 1 मिनट, फिर शाम को 5-6 मिनट, वो सब पकड़ के 10 मिनट. So whenever you have time, choose any activity and do it for 1 minute. Do it for 30 seconds. Squats करो, push-ups करो, सूर्य नमस्कार करो, plank करो, जो भी आपको आता है सिंपल से सिंपल चीज़ वो करो. लोग क्या होता है वो सोच में ही डूब जाते हैं. अरे 1 घंटा करना है, अरे जिम जाना है, अरे जूते गलत है, अरे ये कपड़े कौन से पहने मैंने.
आप तो नंगे पैर दौड़ते हैं.
मैं तो नंगे पैर दौड़ता हूँ. सी इट्स सो इजी. या चप्पल में दौड़ता हूँ, या जो भी है, जीन्स में साइकिलिंग करता हूँ. लोग मुझे बोलते हैं जीन्स में साइकिलिंग कर रहे हैं. 1000 किलोमीटर मैं साइकिलिंग कर सकता हूँ जीन्स में. सो इट इज जस्ट टू शो पीपल कि all these things are not important. You have the time. Start with 1 minute. 1 मिनट से शुरू करो. That's good enough.
1 मिनट का प्लान कर लेते हैं.
Yeah. 1 मिनट के push-ups करो बस. I'll tell you how it works. You see how many push-ups you can do in 1 minute. Maybe you can do 15, maybe you can do 20. I can do about 50 or 60. Till you get to 50 or 60, in that 1 minute, you will see the change in your fitness. रोज 1 मिनट में वो कितने push-ups होते हैं? Say in 3 months or 4 months, you'll be able to do 50 push-ups in a minute, but your entire body and your mind will have changed. Yes.
Okay, last.
It was the last one, but
Yeah.
ask. Quick, hurry up,
You
hurry
don't
up,
need
hurry
a
up.
mic. Go ahead.
अरे फोर्स किया मैंने उन लोगों ने मुझे, और पैसे भी दिए. पैसे इंपॉर्टेंट है ना. पैसे के बगैर मतलब नहीं कि मैं कितना ग्रेट हूँ क्या.
So I think this has been an absolutely fantastic interaction. And
लेकिन पढ़ लेना बुक अच्छी है. क्योंकि I'll tell you what, I have not actually written the book myself. I had a partner, her name is Rupa Pai, fantastic author. बहुत ही तो बुक बहुत अच्छी लिखी है. मैंने लिखी नहीं खुद, उन्होंने लिखी मुझसे ऐसे बातें करके. उन्होंने बुक लिखी, बहुत ही अच्छी बुक है, आपको पढ़नी चाहिए.
absolutely.
Am I what? Slight words मेरे थे लेकिन उन्होंने लिखी.
All right, thank you so much, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, may we please have a huge round of applause for Milind Soman.
Okay, there's one person who wants to. Okay.
Better be a good question.
Yes. procrastinating.
मुझे नहीं मालूम आप क्यों रुक जाते. अगर मुझे पता होता कि आप क्यों रुक जाते, तो फिर मैं बता सकता हूँ क्या करना है. So I'll tell you how procrastination is a good thing. तो मैं बहुत सिगरेट पीता था when I was about 35 years old. 30 cigarettes a day almost. तो I couldn't stop because it's addiction, it's addictive. तो ये procrastination को use करके मैंने stop किया. If I felt like smoking a cigarette, I'll say अभी नहीं, 10 मिनट के बाद. 10 मिनट के बाद वो जो था वो निकल जाता था. Then whenever I felt again, I would say नहीं 10 मिनट के बाद. So from 30 cigarettes, immediately it came down to 4. Then the last 4 it took time, but that procrastination, you should know how to use it. And I'll tell you something else about motivation. If you know why you are exercising, क्यों? आप क्यों कर रहे हो? आपको सिर्फ बताया किसी ने या लोग बोलते हैं आजकल नहीं फिट होना है, हेल्दी होना है, एक्सरसाइज करना जरूरी है, एक्सरसाइज करना नहीं. आपके लिए वो क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट है? अंदर आपके लिए इमोशनली वो रीजन क्या है? मेरे लिए मैं बताता हूँ, जैसे मेरी एज हो रही है, आई नो दैट आई डोंट वांट टू बी सिक. मुझे बीमारी से डर है, मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगता. सो इफ माई बॉडी इज वर्किंग वेल, all my immune system is good, my digestion is good, hormones are good, all the levels are good, I know that the chances of me being sick are very less. That also gives me motivation. So you have to understand कि आपका motivation क्या है. सिर्फ लोगों ने बताया इसलिए नहीं, दुनिया कहती है इसलिए नहीं, आपको क्यों लगता है आपको करना है, तब आप करेंगे. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Milind. And thank you, audience, you've been fantastic.
Thank you so very much, Nishtha, for being an amazing moderator. Everybody.